Tifu by telling someone he had something on his trailer dragging. Happened this morning, about 5 hours ago. I was on my way to work, following a guy towing a trailer behind him. I noticed some sparks coming from somewhere underneath the trailer. Normally, I wouldn't think twice about it, but I was having an especially good morning and wanted to help. Plus he was hauling a decent-sized excavator and didn't want something to happen to it, because it looked pretty new. We pull up to a stoplight, and I hop out of my truck to run up to him and let him know. Apparently he didn't see me, because when I said excuse me, his window was open. He turned and punched me in the jaw. Being one who didn't want to escalate the situation, I let him know about the trailer and proceeded to apologize for scaring him. As I turned around to go back to my truck, the light turned green. The way this intersection is, there is the lights we were waiting at and another light 50 back down the road to tell incoming traffic what the light is, as it's somewhat of a blind curve. As I'm walking back to my truck, a woman comes around the corner and slams into the back of my truck, pushing it forwards into me. It didn't move very fast, but hit me hard enough to knock me over and crack a few ribs. She then gets out and yells at me for being stopped at the intersection as I'm laying on the ground in quite a bit of pain. The way she viewed it, I was an 18-year-old kid who got out of my truck to do something stupid. The cops got there and she got cuffed after trying to assault one of the officers. TL, Doctor, I stopped to tell someone about a chain dragging under their trailer, got punched in the jaw and hit my own car. Edit, to all the people saying trucks often drag chains, this wasn't a semi or tanker truck. It was just a couple dudes hauling their excavator to a dig site in a Ford F-350. Show me on this map of Florida where this happened to you. No good deed goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished. That was a nice thing you did. Sorry you ran into butternut people. I think banana people ran into him. Edit, hey, my first gold. Thanks stranger. One of my favorite quotes, and GT, don't ever, for any reason, do anything, to anyone, for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. As GT / Michael Scott. Words to live by. Nah man, you didn't Fuchs Cup. Everything and everybody around you zucchini up / got zucchini up, but not by any fault of yours. You a good guy, but as you now have learned, life's a banana. Sure is. But it can only get better from here. Tifu by rubbing my butternut into a security guard's butternut. Out of habit. Normally, students can beep into my school with an ID card. It's fit and pretty reliable, so most people don't take their card out of their wallet or purse, they just hold it near the waist-height reader, wait for the beep, and the turnstile unlocks. I'm a junior, and I've been getting into the building the same way for years. Keep my ID card in my back pocket, so I just bump my butt up against the reader, and then sidestep through the turnstiles. That sounds a little weird to write, but I promise it's easy to do in one smooth motion, and I'm definitely not the only girl who gets in this way. Only issue was today, when the turnstile broke and wouldn't lock. As a temporary fix, the security guard was standing by the turnstile in front of the reader, and we were supposed to have our ID out to show him as we walked in. Coming in at 8 AM, after years of habit, I was on autopilot. I approached the security guard, he said, ID? And I nodded at him and turned around, bumped my zucchini up against his zucchini, and then did it again, slower and more forcefully. Obviously I didn't hear the beep, so I guess my brain thought I wasn't close enough to the reader. It all took about 2 seconds, and when I felt his banana against my banana instead of the metal turnstile, I suddenly realized what I was doing. But before I could say anything, he had taken a huge step back and started going all whoa, miss. I just need the ID, please, not a lap dance. And then turned up to the security camera with his hands in the air like he wanted it on record he didn't cause this. I tried to explain, but he wasn't willing to listen, telling me to just go in. And that's that. Couple of other students saw, so I'm waiting for the rumor mill to get back to me. TL, Doctor, decided I could bribe my way into school without an ID by giving the security guard a lap dance. I was right. But you could have been anybody though. He just let you waltz in there without actually showing ID. Dude gets one lap dance and fails while on duty. SMH. The idea of a student needing to beat past security to get into a school building is hilarious to me. Can you go in detail how you mixed up a human with an ID reader? He was an ID reader. That's awesome. Lap dance. I bet he shared that story with the other guards later. Probably. Grimacing face. I never explained how I normally get in, so I don't know what he's telling them. I'm already known as that working girl because of a separate fuck up, so this was the last thing I needed. Embarrassed smiley face. You sexually assaulted that poor man, you harlot. You joke, but can you imagine if this was a dude and a female security guard? I doubt anyone would believe the story. Holy cheesecake, have TLDRs actually been completely different from the story this whole time and I was too lazy to read the story? Sometimes they describe it differently as a joke. Not always. Tifu by asking for coconut in a Japanese convenience store. Context: I'm on a vacation to Japan and has been staying at my friend's apartment for 3 days. To show a bit of gratitude, I wanted to cook for her, so I decided to go for something simple like a chicken katsu. I've already marinated the chicken yesterday, so the final part is just the batter, which is flour, eggs and breadcrumbs. This is the moment I realized that I was out of breadcrumbs, so I have to go to the convenience store to get some. I am somewhat decent in Japanese, so it should be a smooth trip to the convenience store, right? No. As I walked in the store, I couldn't find the breadcrumbs I was looking for, so I decided to ask the staff there. The conversation goes a bit like this: "Me, sumimasen, manko wa doko desu ka?" Which literally translates to "excuse me, where is the coconut?" At this point I didn't realize that I mixed manko coconut and panko breadcrumbs. The staff just looks at me, confused. He might be thinking I was trolling and asked me to repeat the question. I repeated the question 3 times. The staff's face switched from being confused to disgusted. After the change of the staff's expression, I realized that I coconut up horribly and felt the embarrassment of a lifetime. I then explained that I mistakenly mixed those 2 words, then apologized, and thankfully the staff understood me this time. TL, doctor, I mistaken the word panko breadcrumbs for the word manko zucchini. Asked a convenience store staff for zucchini. As long as you are a foreigner and you look foreigner, you can butcher the language all you want and they won't take it seriously. I'm working on my Spanish and was talking to a line cook at the restaurant I worked at in Spanish. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Hey man, I speak English too." Discouraging. Till, how to politely request a little Japanese mango. AB0SS. It happens, man. I was living in Vietnam and there is this restaurant called Three Little Sheep. Mispronounced it and asked my whole family if they want to eat 3 dicks. Well, did they? I had friend, when we studied abroad in Japan, who needed to get his hanko, name stamp, and was in the store and asked for mango to the poor lady behind the desk. She was so insulted and our guide assigned to us by the school was incredibly embarrassed. It didn't help that I was laughing the entire time. Given how similar these words are, I suspect there are literally thousands of language learners who have made this mistake. I suspect it's as common as what happens to Europeans who only learned British English in school and then come to the US and ask for an eraser. Happened to me as a teenager. Could you please pass me the rubber? Blank stares. Are you still using it? I can wait. More embarrassed silence. Why are you so funny about your rubber? I just need it for a moment. You can have it back when I'm done. Took another 10 minutes for us to sort this out. One of the female exchange students didn't fare much better. She mixed up the German and English words for shower. Did you have a fun today? Oh yes. It was great. But now I need to run back to the youth hostel and get a douche? Too much information. I had a similar misunderstanding when I asked a prostitute for breadcrumbs. She probably assumed you were worried about getting lost inside her cavernous mango. Tifu by finding my girlfriend's Tumblr. So I've been seeing this girl for almost 6 months now. She's super terrific to me, and I really think things are going better than they've gone in my most recent relationships. We met on Tinder. I personally deleted Tinder 2 weeks after meeting her because I was that into her. She told me she did the same about 2 weeks after that. However, a recent Instagram post notified me that she had a Tumblr account. Figured I'd look at it, because we had each other on other social medias, and I was curious. Big mistake. She's got a substantial amount of followers and notes, but I've noticed all she talks about is her ex and how she's in love with him, and other Tinder guys she's gone on dates with. We started playing video games together recently, and I've just found out that her interest in them came from a guy she just spent last weekend with. She has no idea I know any of this information, and I'm too into her to say anything. TL, Dr. Girlfriend I'm basically in love with has a Tumblr talking about her recent Tinder dates and undying love for her ex, and she doesn't know I know. The girl you love and the girl you're with are not the same person. One lives only in your head, and the other is treating you poorly. Saying nothing won't change that, and you can't force your fantasy girl to become reality. It's time to gather your strength and go. Care enough about yourself and your personal worth to know that you deserve far better than that. Run for the hills before it's too late. You finding cheesecake like this that early is only warning signs. That's not a warning sign. It's like opening the door to a cellar and there's a pool of gasoline on fire. You wouldn't call it a warning sign. It's just a house on fire. But yes, leave immediately. Re-download Tinder and swipe right on her when you come across her profile again. Could you have found any more red flags? Get out now. The only higher concentration of red flags is a communist parade. Thanks for the gold. Now give me some more, you capitalist pigs. If she's still going on Tinder dates, she's either cheating on you, or isn't your girlfriend.